Alright everybody, welcome back! So the severe damage mechanic that was on last year's roadmap is finally here, and there is a lot to unpack. So for those of y'all who have been living under a rock and either didn't see the roadmap or haven't seen the talk yesterday about it, what exactly is going on is Gaijin is fundamentally altering what exactly constitutes a kill in ARRB. Before this, and for the entirety of the time that I've been playing War Thunder, we have had hits, crits, assists, and kills. And Gaijin is now moving towards more of the assist equals kill style format that other games have already used. So hits and crits are staying the same, but now there is something new called severe damage. And essentially this is a drastic amount of critical damage. The short of it is that extreme damage, such as, taking out all the engines on an aircraft, or killing all the controls, or taking off the wing, will constitute a new severe damage, and whenever this happens you will get 80% of the reward for the aircraft. However, it is not dead. Instead, now the aircraft is counted as alive until it's either completely destroyed, for example taking off the tail or hitting the ground, or the pilot is dead. If it hits the ground or you kill the pilot after you do that initial damage, you get an extra 20% of the rewards. So if you just get a normal kill, nothing has changed. It's just now instead you have an 80-20 split of the rewards ahead of time. If someone comes in and finishes off the person after they take critical damage, they will now get 40% of the reward instead of just taking the kill like they would, in normal ARRB right now for that same thing. And you will get a notification saying that, the aircraft was finished off. Only one person can get that critical damage. You don't have to worry. After you do that severe damage like you saw right there, no one else can get that. They either get the kill or they just get an assist whenever it dies. So now that everyone should be pretty much caught up, let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty of it, because as with everything else Gaijin does, there are pros and cons to this. It's not all just sunshine and roses. So I'm going to start off with some of the downsides, and actually securing your kill is so much more difficult now than it used to be. That's the F-14 I shot earlier. You can see right here, he's actually missing at least one wing, is on fire and everything else, and he is still not counted as dead. Assuming no one actually comes in and tries to sweep up this kill, there wouldn't really be an issue here. The problem is, knowing how ARRB players are, someone will almost certainly come in and try and steal that. And sure, I've already gotten 80% of the reward, but compared to the current model, I would have already had that kill when I took that guy's wing off. So in all these situations, this is actually an economy nerf, because you're going to be losing out on 20% of your reward for that kill. Now, most of my missile kills have just killed normally, as you saw earlier in the video, right? They hit, they pilot snipe, the guy is dead. But with guns, and especially in lower tiers, I could see this being a major issue. Stuff that would normally kill is no longer doing so, and then you're losing out on 20% of what you normally would. Another issue with them not being counted as dead is HMD still works while they are quote-unquote severely damaged. And so you can have a guy, for example an SC-27, sitting in the middle of the map on fire, burning and spinning to the ground, and still be able to fire off R-73s or R-27s, and if they're too close, you will not be able to flare them. This also means that, if you're jousting with somebody, right, and your missile doesn't pilot snipe them, their radar, unless it is damaged, will keep working and still guiding in that missile. They aren't counted as dead, and so their radar will continue to function, because right now, if you kill somebody, their radar immediately stops working. What's counted as severe damage is also a little bit iffy right now. I've seen some cases where someone is just nicked in the wing, and that counts as quote-unquote severe damage, and when the game ends, they get kicked out of the aircraft and told that it got ridden off, which is a great mechanic in and of itself. That means that someone who got actually crit earlier in the game will give a kill. But when it's not actually critical damage, it's just kind of like, why? What constitutes severe damage, of course, will most likely change, and that could be a bug with what actually qualifies as it, but it is just something to consider if it stays as is. That's not to say everything is bad about this system. There are quite a few things that I actually do like about it. There have been so many cases where I hit somebody, set them on fire, they're spinning to their death, and somebody comes in, launches a missile, and steals my kill. Or I hit somebody with a missile, it doesn't instantly kill, and then, for example, the F-14 that just ate a Phoenix is sitting there burning for 3 minutes until someone comes in and steals the kill. Now, I actually get 80% of my reward. So if we're talking purely about the kills that would have gotten stolen already, this is actually a benefit, because now instead of having them get the full kill reward, they only get 40%, and I get the full, well, at least almost full 80%. It's just that it seems like with the way it's currently set up, it's actually going to incentivize more kill stealing than before, as people will take longer to die and survive more damage than they normally would. There's no indication, you know, on the UI at least, that they are actually critically damaged. And people in general are just going to be less likely to get upset now because both people will get a kill on their stats. Depending on how exactly this plays out, my worry is that this could lower the individual rewards because more of your kills will end up getting stolen than before due to just how the kills are being counted now. Overall, though, if I had to choose right now, I'd say this is more of a positive change than a negative one. It definitely needs some polishing, though. One of the really easy ways I think they could fix this, in my opinion, is simply by leaving the normal kill system that we have right now in AORP and just layering this on top of it. So if you happen to do, you know, severe damage to somebody, then you qualify for the, you know, assist counts as kill. But if you hit somebody with a missile and it breaks off their wing or whatever else and sets them on fire, you get the normal kill just like you would right now in normal RB. I think these systems could work really well together, and it would take care of those really awkward situations where, by all rights, you've taken off like both of his wings. The guy should be dead, but he just isn't counted as dead. And it would still allow for those cases where you smack somebody with a missile and they burn for 3 minutes to still give you that, you know, 80%. Even if they don't want to do that, they definitely need to refine exactly what counts as severe damage. For example, I would add, you know, losing your vertical stabilizers to that as well, because they are very important, not just the horizontal stabilizer. They also need to correct yellow wings causing the severe damage and just the other little glitchy stuff that we're seeing right now, but I think this is why they have gone ahead and given us this little event instead of just pushing it to live, and I actually really appreciate them doing this. They've done this from time to time. I remember them doing this whenever they were looking at adding the markers for missiles instead of just the rocket is launched, and this is a really great move on their part. I'm going to leave the article linked down below, so if there was anything you didn't understand, feel free to go ahead and check that out. And for those of y'all who did understand everything I said, what are y'all's thoughts on this system? I mean, do you like it? Do you think it needs changes? I mean, what do you think about what I said? My instinctual reaction was to immediately think this was a great thing, and so I hope you give a lot of thought to it, because it did take someone else pointing this out to me that, hey, this could lead to lower rewards depending on how many kills were stolen. Hopefully Gaijin can cook up something good, because they've been doing a fairly good job as of late. In any case, hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You stick around and see more in the future. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch y'all next time. So, peace, y'all.